Hey Sag, how's it going? Welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning, welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, welcome. It is wonderful to have each and every single one of you. Sag, it's been a hot second. Got some readings out for the movement for the North and South nodes. We are now in the Aries North node and the Libra South node. Hoping to get on a schedule. I'm waiting for some decision, we'll put it that way, and we can talk about it another time, to try to get a more set up schedule of getting these readings out to you guys as things are finally starting to settle down after this week, hopefully. So hopefully more consistent readings for all of you. So thank you for sticking around. Know that I'm human as well. Life happens. I have finished out that Scorpio North or South node and Taurus North node myself as it sits in my North and South node. So if you're not familiar with that in your birth chart, guys, check that out. I'm going to adjust this camera just a smidge. Okay. So, you know, I'm human as much as everybody else, and life happens to me too. So always making the best effort forward to get these videos out to everybody. So with that note, on that note, we'll leave that there. No, I'm not high. My eyes are red, right? Like from showering. So, looking a little off today. But anyhow, so okay, Sag. This will be for your sun, your moon, your rising, your Venus cross watchers. If that is you, welcome to the channel as well. Guys, always discern the messages accordingly. You know, if it doesn't fit, if it doesn't make sense for you, then don't take that information. Part of the reading may be for you, some of it, all of it, who knows, maybe none of it. So, you know, discern accordingly. Sag, this is going to be your reading for August of 2023. See what's going on in your energy right now. And before I was kind of taking a moment and meditating a little bit, I heard once bitten, twice shy. And if I remember correctly, that I think that was a White Snake song in the 80s, 90s, maybe something like that, right? But what that reminded me of for you guys is that it's like, I think there's a preconceived idea that you've been here before. So whatever situation for you is happening, it's like, I've seen this before, I've done this before. And it's you're pausing on something. You're pausing on something in your life. And this could be love. This could be, you know, many arenas of your world, right? But I feel like you're hesitant to just pick a direction or decide on where it is that you're going or how it is that you're going to get there. I don't know. We'll see what comes out in the cards, though. Okay. So Sag, let's just get down to it. I'm going to try to keep these readings shorter than an hour. I know there was a couple of them that I did that have been pretty long. So, all right, Spirit for Sag. I feel like you guys are in conflicting energies. Like there's parts of you, and there may just be some of you who are in what you feel like is a good space, and others of you where you're struggling to figure out who you are at this time. A lot of mental energy, you know, surrounding various situations in your life at this time. So, chaos, there it is. There it is. Sagittarius. They're telling me 2 cards. So this chaos, this to me in this particular deck is like the, is like the Tower card essentially, right? You think about a tornado, I almost said tunnel. A tornado that comes through and it kind of wipes, hi kitty, wipes everything out, right? So when these things are being wiped out of your life, it is to start you fresh and start you over, start you anew. It cleans the slate. You may have to rebuild. You may have to start, you know, brand new all over again. I think there's a fear of it doing it independently. And pardon the cat, he's wired this morning for some reason. He is zipping through the house. Spirit is saying that things are falling. And it kind of reminds me of fall. And you may see for some of you, September, October may be a significant time frame. The beginning of fall is what's coming up. That maybe the pathway that you thought you were going to have, things are taking a turn. Where you may find yourself in a space of aloneness. You may find yourself in a space of having to figure out something new. I think that's 9-9, by the way. That may be the point where some communication may happen, and why this is coming up for the month of August. You know, there's no real timing essentially in tarot, but just be aware. You know, this is something that for some of you, you may be going through. I don't feel like this is past energy. This definitely feels like future energy across the board for me. But there's a need, and you may even get communication that comes in that makes you feel like this is being wiped out, or there may just be an inkling within you that kind of sets this in motion, that all of a sudden you're having emotional talks or awareness to certain things. It's like a need to, Spirit is saying hit your mark, hit your target kind of vibe, but this message is coming in, and it's almost like you may find that your words are right there, but you're not quite spitting them out. A need to, or if this is another person, there may be some hesitancy on conveying certain things to you at this time. So just be aware. Again, place that where it belongs for each of you. I am going to get a sacred geometry card, if I can speak today, and see what comes up. The dynamic 5, change, right? That chaos and that change. Cosmic flower, life is shifting. Life, is a rebuild. It's always a restructure. The frequency of dynamics supports our ability to harmonize between layers and aspects of different origin and frequency. It helps us to put together a reality that is made up of many different elements, both familiar and completely new, with ease, grace, and great joy. So, Sag, I'm going to say to you, I feel like Spirit is saying a connection between the mind, body, and the spirit. And it's kind of like you're smack dab in the center. And it's funny because I did a personal reading yesterday, kind of a little bit of the same vibe in regards to that. So if this person is watching, hello, how are you? But it is the same kind of energy of like you're kind of in the middle of it, and you're seeing how, to me, that we talk about the layers, right? That there is not just one part of your life that is not connected to the other. So when you think about the mind, the body, and the spirit, in order for the whole body, the spirit, the mind, to all be in alignment, we have to work on all 3 aspects, all 3 layers of those areas of our lives. And I kind of feel like for some of you right now, and this won't be for everybody, that you're starting to understand how those 3 elements are connected to each other. How when one is out of sync with the others, how that can throw us off of our path, how that can kind of derail us, distract us, how it affects, like I will say for water signs most often, Scorpios primarily, use myself as the example, is that when our emotional body is off, our emotions are out of sync, our money tends to be affected. So it's kind of like the same thing. It's like you're starting to realize that when you're not touching, and I'm going to say, Spirit is saying that you're not touching base with your spirituality, that your mental capacities are now being affected. That's how this comes in. These are the 2 parts right now, Sag, that I feel like need to be addressed. It's not so much about your stability as it is your spiritual stance versus the mental, the physical body, right? The need to get those 2 in sync. So you may be questioning too how things work in your life, how they play out, why they work out the way that they do. Finding if there's over worry and stress, that these things just don't tend to balance out the way that you would hope they would. And recognizing, to me, it's key that you're recognizing how they overlap, how one truly is affecting the other. It's like somebody who doesn't take care of their finances, and then they wonder why they lose their home. I mean, it's a terrible example, but nonetheless an example. So it's kind of like that. Like you have to nurture one so that they're in divine flow with everything else. And that's kind of where I feel you're at right now, okay? So talking about the finances, I say about your stability, right? Not financial constraint. It's a sense of emptiness regardless, whether it's finances, love, whatever. And we'll dive more into that. But I do feel like part of this is multifaceted in the sense of how you need to, Spirit is saying, convey what you mean. So this can be that communication that I talked about. I feel like there's various parts that just feel empty, maybe, I'm going to say unused for a long time. You talk about like you look at the cobwebs, right? I just feel like it's like the 5 of Cups, the 5 of Pentacles energy with this card. There is a lack. There's a lack mentality attached to this, whether it's finances, whether it's love, whether it's your emotions. Doesn't matter. This, spiritually, are you lacking spiritually, as well as kind of what I want to say to you. So, and this may be, okay. I'm going to say this to some of you, and again, I don't think this is going to resonate for all of you. I used Scorpio as the example, right? Emotional stance, financial stance. You're shortchanging yourself. They keep showing me all these coins, right? So for some of you, this can be money related. For others of you, your emotional capability to feel safe and sound is affecting this triangular mind, body, spirit. Stop looking at the material world if you are, and associating them, and I want to say Spirit said boats, whether it's boats, cars, property, tangible resources, you know, maybe the finer things in life, clothes, whatever that is. It's not about those things. That idea of lacking in some capacity is causing an imbalance in the mental space, which is causing a spiritual lack. And I just seen 11:14 on the timer, by the way. Is causing a lacking in your spiritual. It's almost like Spirit is saying to you, if you get right with where you stand within yourself, your connection to the divine, things will balance out. But I also feel like for some of you, there is, I don't want to say scared, but this fear, in a way, of what is on the other side of your awareness would be, I think, the best way to put it. And it's like you're afraid, whether this is emotionally, job-wise, whatever, that you're going to get shortchanged again. You know, I talked about that once bitten, twice shy. Like if you've seen certain behaviors or something, not saying that cycles aren't repeating, but I want to say to you more than, what cycle are you repeating? I don't think, Sag, that this has really anything to do with anybody else at the end of the day. This reading is definitely about you. You may be repeating a cycle somehow, some way. And we can repeat cycles in different ways. We might have learned part of a lesson, brought it forward with us into this next one, and we're not doing it quite the same, but there's still habits, there's still patterns, there's still something that we're lacking that we need to move forward so that we're not going through these same lessons. And I think what it boils down to is you and not necessarily someone else, right? It's like taking self-accountability. So speed this up a little bit. All right, Sag. I hope this message is making sense for you guys. Indecision. Not sure where to turn, not sure what to do. And I want to, what do they say? They both say unknown. So you may feel like at this time, and I talked about those cycles, 8, right, is starting a new cycle, that infinity symbol. I feel like you think it's either, it's like black and white kind of energy. It's either this or it's that. It's all or it's nothing. Future energy for Sag, please, Spirit. Motion. You're going to, another 8. You're going to have to make forward movement. And we talked about that stability. There it is again. Because you want things to be stable. And I will say 8, 8, and 8. You've got 3 8s on the table. 2 9s, 3 8s, a 5, and a 4. That's stability energy. Those cycles opening. Remember, even though we're moving into Aries and Libra, or we have moved into Aries and Libra, this is still a new cycle start for all of us in general. These are new karmic patterns, new karmic situations. Sag, do not spend this next time period with this North and South node repeating cycles. You know, clear that karma. You've cleared this karma out. You're working towards something new. It's time to be assertive in what it is that you know you need to do for yourself. It's like, I'm without, I don't know what to do about it, but I know I have to do something. It's time to make that forward movement. It's time to take that risk. It's time to have like a trust fall with the universe that says, okay, I don't have to know everything. I just need to go. You know, like figure it out day to day, be present, be in the moment. Don't let everything consume you at this time. So, Sag, let's see. Everything is like, I want to say, Spirit is saying, I'm looking at this, back to zero, back to a new start. Very, very important that you understand that you're back to a new start. You're just going to have to make movement differently. 3 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune on the split. You've got to let other people in, right? Like this is a turning point in your life where it's learning to emotionally let other people in, not necessarily to help you, but just to be there. What is this financial constraint spirit? Oops. Yeah, there's a need to release this defensive energy. I feel like you always feel, yeah, there's that backstab betrayal, that 10 of Swords. Mental energy I talked about right there, that 9 or the 8 of Swords. You know, that's a self-imposed restriction when we look at the cards from the traditional meaning of the tarot deck. You know, you've got the 7 of Wands in the reverse, the 10 of Wands, or 10 of Swords, I'm sorry, and the 8 of Swords. Backstab, betrayal, the things that, and I want to say at some point in the past, Sag, I've had this conversation with you all, that there's a need to heal the heart space of the things that have happened before. And this may be, again, for some of you, you may have gone through this, you may be coming out of this, but I do feel like that this particular part of yourself is lingering. It is about you. It's about the things that you haven't healed. It's about the way that you're thinking about things. Spirit is telling you it's time to get into a space of gratitude. If you're going to sit there and worry, I don't have enough, there's not enough of this, I don't have enough of that, if I only had, if I only had, if I only had, what are you doing to make forward movement that brings you out of this lack mentality? Whether, you know, let's just say if it is money related, right? Again, for all of you, it will be different. If it is money related, what can you do to put, I don't care if it's a dime, into your savings account, right? Sounds pathetic, maybe in a sense, but if that's all you have, that dime, you know, 10 dimes later, you've got $1 there. So it's the idea that you're slowly rebuilding, but you've got to get out of this space of, I don't have enough, or I'm going to get hurt again. I've been backstabbed. But I almost want to say to you, Sag, too, that this is like a backstab and betrayal of the self. It's self-sabotaging behavior and the tendency of the way that it is that you're thinking about things. And you may be becoming aware of how those patterns repeat for you, or how they've repeated in the past, how they're kind of, you're starting to see the traits about yourself that may be uncomfortable. That's shadow work, right? I'm not trying to kick your ass, but I also feel like part of you is angry with you. It's like you're doing things impulsively with that Knight of Swords on the bottom, higher spiritual calling there with the Hierophant, and that 2 of Swords, which is very much that indecision space of mentality of, what do I do with that? I don't know what to do. Take the blindfold off and look around. See what opportunities lie around you, right? You're going from the 1, or the Ace, I should say, of Swords. That would be, you know, before the 2 of Swords is the Ace of Swords. It is opportunity. That 2 is you're allowing yourself to be stuck into something because you're not willing to see the way forward. There's really a need to see the way forward outside of your own mental thoughts, and your mental thoughts are the things that are holding you up right now. You may be fighting with the idea of your spirituality, right? And like I said earlier, getting in alignment with spirit, that dynamic of the mind, the body, and the spirit, they all have to be on point. You know, we're not always in alignment. We can go out and have an experience and completely knock us out of sorts, and we have to pull ourselves back in. But it's about the awareness of honing in on that so that you can more easily jump back into a space of alignment. This here is like, I am without. I want to say to you, some of you, this is not an overruling energy, but there's a specific area of life where you feel like you've gotten shortchanged. Do not, and Spirit is telling you, do not dwell on that. Like, if that's the worst thing that happens, you know, maybe somebody owed you $500, all they had was 4, and you're like, well, you know, you still owe me $100. It's picking your battles and going, is this really worth the energy and effort, or should I just cut my losses and move on? So just, you know, a side note to that as well. But I feel like this mentality, again, is affecting your ability to be spiritual in the sense of what you need. And then also, fleeting thought right there, sorry. It's affecting that ability, but it's also that spirituality, but it's also affecting the body. And I want to say to you too, how are you taking care of yourself at this time? Very important. I feel like some of you are reaching out for love. There's that the Justice card. You know, we talk about the indecision. You've got Justice, which brings in balance. The World card. Spirit just said you might be dealing with a Taurus, so just FYI there. All major arcanas, and it's funny because I talked about that person that I did the personal reading for yesterday, and I think almost these exact same cards came out. You got the Justice, the World card, the Star came out sideways, then we've got the Hermit underneath that. Sag, you are being taken on a spiritual journey at this time without hesitation. You are being brought to a space where you have to make a decision. You have to pick the higher path. You have to pick that higher calling. And I think the mental aspect of that is there's a fear that things will not be balanced, that you're not going to get what you want. Drop the expectation, because right now Spirit with this Hermit is asking you to take that spiritual journey on your own. There is nothing around you. There's no money, there's no love, there's no, whatever it might be, that is going to pull you out of this. This is something that you have to figure out for yourself. And if you have to go it alone, which I think many of you have support around you and in love on whatever this topic is in your life specifically. But it's like you just, again, that Two of Swords, that indecision, you don't see how this comes to fruition. And you don't have to see it. It's about trusting the unknown. It's about trusting and putting your faith into something higher than where you are. So you're starting off on this new unknown cycle. This is learning to do things in a different way. And I think a lot of you are getting up in your head about it. It's not going to serve your higher good. You're going to keep yourself in this, I hate the word stuck because we've used it so much this year, right? Throughout the retrogrades and the eclipse season and the past month before, then the movement between the north, or with the north and south nodes, there was a lot of stagnancy and stuckness, right? But you're keeping yourself in that place because you want to see how it's going to work out. You want to see the path laid out in front of you. And Spirit is asking you to not have that expectation, but just to work your way through it. But I also feel like your mental thoughts are blocking you from being in touch with the inner you, the truth of who you are, your own truth, and how you open up to the things around you. It's self-defeating at the end of the day. So this action, the High Priestess, again, the need to trust your intuition, the need to trust the idea of letting go of letting go if you don't see this, how this works out for you. Spirit is saying either way, you're going to be happy for so long as you get out of your own way, Sagittarius. It's like they're trying to bring in reason to celebrate. They're trying to, my God, you guys have so many major arcanas here on this table. This is crazy. With that, the Death card. You've got to be willing. Don't see changes and transformation as scary. See them as victory and success. Cause for celebration, and underneath that we've got the Lovers. Choices. It's not always just about love, but you also, for some of you, you may have choices in love, is what I want to say to you as well. But this is for you to understand that this change that's trying to take place, that's trying to happen in your world, is something that you're going to need to trust to move forward. You may have many options around you that are very night and day kind of energy. But again, there's just, trust. Just trust the process. And I know this seems to be very vague in a way, but yet not. But it's about getting yourself back into a spiritual place, to celebrate you for who you are and the fact that you are changing, the need to change, the need to transform, the need to get back to what makes you feel alive. And when I say back to, not repetitive patterns, just coming back to the self. When we walk in, we come into this world, we're starting on a new slate, essentially. Yes, we come with, karmic lessons and things that we need to do, with destiny and fate, awaiting us. But it's the free will choice. And it's the same thing right now as you open up this new cycle, Sagittarius, that Find the joys in what there is to celebrate rather than sitting in this lack mentality of, I don't have what I want. I don't have what I think I need. You're going to have to change that perspective and trust that the universe is supporting you to make these changes. You've got Libra, Aquarius, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, Aries, Scorpio, Gemini. Could be dealing with one of those signs. I'm going to reiterate to you guys that September, October, very important time frames, the 9th and the 10th month. The number 19 Spirit just gave me could be of significance to you. This message, this delivery of something, somebody could be saying something, doing something that catches somebody off guard around, well, today is the 19th. Oh my God. Thank you, Spirit. So there may have been some kind of communication or something that you've put out there. You're not sure how it's going to work out, or somebody has delivered some sort of message to you as well that you're not sure what to do with that. But it's really needing to clear the mental space I want to reiterate, in a healthy way. I don't think that your life is going to be how you expect it to be. You may have an idea or a notion tied to something, but we're starting to see a lot of balancing energies. Very black and white. You know, trust where it is that you're being headed. And Spirit is also saying, don't be tempted by old habits, by old patterns. They're not serving of you. They're not serving of you. All right, let's get you guys a card or two of advice. All right, Spirit for Sag, card of advice for Sag, please. A powerful move. I'm going to say to you, 15 Capricorn, devil energy there as well. When I think of tarot, you've got the keys to unlock your success, Sag. There is nothing that you need. It's magician kind of energy for me too, vibe. There's nothing that you don't have that you can't make these moves. You're going to have to be bold. You're going to have to be powerful in moving forward. You're just going to have to trust that, again, that trust fall, those wings, you know, that if you fall off the edge of the cliff as the fool just takes that leap, right, that you're going to be supported by the flower of life. It makes me think of the Light Seers Fool in that tarot deck. You will be fully supported. You are fully supported. It will pull into balance, but you have to be willing to balance it out. It's just that way. I don't know how else to say it to you, but the problem is this willing release comes in the reverse. You've got to be willing to trust the way that Spirit, the universe, God, whatever you put your faith into, is moving you. This will change your entire life and for the better, but you have to trust this and you have to let go of this lack, first and foremost. When we manifest, or we don't have to manifest it in that way, we do it without even realizing it. When we're in the space of lack, and that's what we think about, what do? We call more of that in. That's our vibrational frequency. That is where we are sitting. So you're being asked to change that up, Sagittarius. I'll get you guys one card for love, and we're going to wrap this up. We'll try to keep an open mind for Sagittarius for the month of August, please, Spirit. Good Lord. Okay. Chemistry in the reverse, you deserve love. In the reverse, and romantic feelings. If you're feeling down on yourself, Sag, you guys can be very assertive in how you present yourself. And then I've had a lot of Sagittariuses in my life. And then in the same time, it's almost like lacking confidence or lacking to see the beauty in yourself. You've got to change the way you see you. Because without that, you know, you think about this, and I'm sure I've said this before in other videos, the best thing that you can ever do for yourself or for a partnership is to take care of you first. and everybody works on them and they come together and it's a beautiful, harmonious thing for the most part, right? Kind of vibe. You're not feeling good. And if you're not feeling good, nothing else around you is going to feel good. And I feel like for some of you, you're having these feelings about certain things that are maybe making you very uncomfortable because you don't feel that you're worthy of certain things in your life. So, you know, you have to get yourself out of that. No one else is going to be able to do that for you. Like I said, 30-30 on the timer, by the way. You're going to have to pull yourself out of that. You have to understand that you are deserving, that you are lovable, that things can mesh well, but understand that the idea that you are in lack, or you don't have the confidence or the willpower or the whatevers, is bringing in this imbalance that says this doesn't work. All you know is you have a feeling, whether this is love or whatever area of life, you have a feeling of something, but there's no confidence to back it up. It is just a very off way of thinking across the board. And that one off thing, that key piece, you know, you look at they're like chess moves, right? They're chess pieces. That one key piece is what is knocking everything else out of alignment for you. So if you can sit in with these feelings, understand what these are, don't be afraid of them, balance can be restored. Balance it's always there for us to work with. It's just a matter of whether or not we're willing to work with it. And then you've got this willing release in reverse. Not thinking that, again, you're worthy enough of something, or feeling like there's no way that your wishes will come true. The star coming out in the sideways position and seeing that like that. Those are our hopes. That's our ability to desire and put a lot of hope into things that we really want for ourselves. But you have to be willing to allow yourself to get there. So right now, that willing release is what you need. Release this mental lack so that you can move in confidently to things that make you feel good. Plain and simple. Okay? Sag, start off this new cycle bold. Start off this new cycle knowing that you are worthy of good things, but also know that it's going to require effort and work for you as well. Nothing worth having is, given to us, without putting in the work, or however they say that, right? All right, Sag, if you found this video resonated for you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not already done so. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Personal readings are open and available. That information is found in the description box below, as well as the about section of the page. You can also go to holisticallyzenwv.com for a full list of products and services that I offer as well. So I'm wishing you guys the very best. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye.